What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gersh1.
And today we're back at it to answer more of your life-changing questions in another sticky installment of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewers. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And that is what Jake S. has done. He asks, Orks, and he spells Orks wrong. It's supposed to be O-R-K-S. If you spell Orks as O-R-C-S, those are fantasy Orks, aka Age of Sigmar Orks, and we don't mess with them, even though their scopes are way better than GW's, or than 40K Orks. But anyways, he says, Orks like red because it goes faster, and purple makes them go stealthy. What do all other colors do? That's a good question. So I'm going to go down the line of like what the colors do, and then I'm going to explain a little bit as to why that works for the Orks.
Quick question before you go through the colors.
Do
Orks see in the same spectrum as humans?
That's actually a really good question. And
because maybe we're seeing something as red, but to them it might be like magenta or something.
Jesus, that's like level 10 thinking about stuff that I didn't think about. That's actually a really good point. I don't really know. Because you know how like if you jump over to like infrared, you see things that you normally wouldn't see. So I wonder if the Orks then just have a biological like thing in them that they know certain things are a certain way because of the color that they are. That's actually really good. That's like theory fodder, I guess, or whatever it's called.
In order
to
beat Orks, we got to make them all colorblind then, right?
Yeah, like dogs. Are dogs colorblind?
Is that an old wives' tale?
I have dogs. I'm gonna ask them. So like it's very primitive. The colors that GW has told us that they do.
It's like Roy G. Biv, right?
Yeah, basically. So like red makes things go faster. Purple, you said things makes go sneakier.
Stealthy, invisible.
Blue is a lucky color. So that's why the Death Skulls paint themselves blue because they believe that's luck. So they'll loot better things if they paint them blue or whatever. Yellow makes things go boom. So like bigger explosions usually occur when things are yellow. And then what's the other one? Oh, green is just the best color.
It's just the best.
Yeah, it's just the best. And I think that's it that I could remember. And the reason for that is that, in my opinion, I think it is so if all Orks believe that red things go faster, then it naturally happens based on the Ork biological WAAAGH energy that affects probability. So think of Domino from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She just has like really good luck, and that's the same thing with Orks. Like if they see something that's red or they paint it red, luck is going to push that vehicle faster, not because it actually is faster, but because things are going to happen where like, I don't know, more air is going to go into the engine, or like I don't know why things go faster. Jet fuel works better for them because of something or another, and it works for everything. So like even their weapons, if they have a gun, normally it would blow up in your face, but because they're pulling the trigger and they think that it's going to shoot, it does. And that's because that mechanism that would normally malfunction for some reason doesn't malfunction this time. There might be like a pin that knocks it into place every single time or what have you. But yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really interesting because does it play on the whole aspect of them being Krorks? And it's just like that, I don't know, big brainness of their Krork ancestry or biology is trickling down to the probability. Maybe it's not really probability. Maybe as Krorks, they knew how things worked so well that it still impacts them to this day.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, and it's just innate. Like they naturally like know how to do things, and the color doesn't really matter then. It's just like they know how to build things. So yeah, that could be it too. That wouldn't explain why it blows up in like a human's hands, though.
Yeah, but it's the Orks, though. Everything's really badass and really goofy with them.
Yeah, and then we also get the question of like if a bunch of Orks thought that the Emperor was alive, would he just come back to life? No, because that's not how it works, I guess. Like it's probability for what they're doing, not probability that they send out. Like if a bunch of orcs believe that there's an ice cream sandwich on the other side of the universe, when they get to the other side of the universe, the ice cream sandwich is not just going to magically appear. That's not how it works.
It's like a butterfly effect, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. It triggers something, and then,
So
domino.
Zeech would really like them.
Basically, yeah. Even though you don't see many Tzeentch orcs, you mostly see Nurgle and Khorne orcs.
Red orcs.
Red orcs.
This next question is by Evangelium. What does the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Dark Mechanicus think of Necron tech? Would both have some interest in researching it? For sure. There's actually instances of the Admech taking Necron technology and slapping a big old school Imperium sticker on it, which allow the Imperium to not see it as heresy and use it. The biggest instance is the phase blades that the Death Watch use. It's freaking a Necron sword. That's what it is. But the Admech are saying, no, it's really old human technology, so it's okay for like Space Marines to use it.
Yep.
But yeah, for the most part, yeah. Using Necron technology is seen more heretical. Like you're crossing that border between heresy. But Bloodsaurius Call does it all the time. So,
if he does it, then it's okay.
or so they say. They turn a blind eye to it. But Gilliman's catching on.
Yeah, he's not going to do anything. This next question comes from Night Vision Goggles. I always wanted one of those when I was younger. I don't know why. Like, what would I do? Just look at the raccoons outside my window? He asks, if the Emperor is becoming a god in the warp, could the possibility be the same for the Omnissiah? Yeah.
Definitely.
The only problem is that I think that there are more Imperial citizens that believe in the God Emperor than they do for the Omnissiah.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's quantity of worship, there is more people worshiping the Emperor than there are worshiping the machine cult and the Omnissiah.
But at the same time, I feel like most Imperial citizens believe in the machine spirit.
Yes.
So if that's the case, then in turn they would have to believe in the Omnissiah. But sometimes the two get mixed up and they believe that the God Emperor is the Omnissiah.
Yeah, which is how the Emperor did the whole thing with the treaty on Mars. He was like, I'll let you guys keep worshiping your machine god and all that kind of stuff. But then they said like, oh no, he is the Omnissiah. Mm-hmm. So he was just like, not really, but I need the ship, so sure.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of like religious, how do I put it, interconnections, because you have like the dragon of Mars and you have the cult that blesses and praises to this dragon, which they believe is the Omnissiah, but then you have other people who think this is the Omnissiah, and it's just people are going to believe what they want to believe.
What's interesting is the Void Dragon stuff.
Yes, definitely,
because now we have the Void Dragon out on the tabletop. Mm-hmm. I wonder what lore is, like what story is going to come with it.
Yeah, I can't wait for the pre-orders to just come already so we can read it.
That is the one book that I would read from the Black Library if it came out, like with an explanation of what the Void Dragon truly is, because it seems interesting.
Yeah, I've talked about it in like 2 or 3 videos now, but it's like the Void Dragon has its pretty much its ties in a whole lot of things. He fought against the Eldari gods. He played a big part in closing the Eye of Terror with like creating the Necron pylons and the obelisks and the whole how that shuts down the warp. The Emperor supposedly fought the Void Dragon and imprisoned it at Mars, and like I said, the cult of the dragon on Mars, and there's already shards of the Void Dragon out there, but they thought that the dragon under Mars was like a whole katana, not cut into like shards and fragments. So to actually find out what's right is big.
Especially because I think it's going to connect to the War in Heaven.
Oh, yes.
And the Golden Throne. Because the Golden Throne is supposed to be Old One technology. Mm-hmm. And if there was a Catan who had the power to build these pylons, he was probably trying to close off that warp gate that existed on the moon. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know, it just creates, like, this really cool, like, even back in the day, Mars and Earth were fighting each other.
Yeah.
Because it was, like, the Necrons versus the Old Ones. So we'll see. We'll see if they actually go through with it.
Yeah, they could just not give us anything and just be like, "Oh, this is the power of the Catan," and that's it.
Which they've done with the sword for Farsight a lot.
Mm-hmm. They never explain its origins. It's just it cuts life and it gives it to Farsight.
Yeah, and the corn people. Where are they?
Eloteros.
Yeah, they were they were protecting it or trying to attack them.
You just imagine like
a bunch of dudes with the little carts.
Yeah, little cart.
Little homies. Next question comes from Parker Trebian. What would happen if the Tyranids managed to breach Lanesh's realm of chaos? They obviously wouldn't be tempted by their false offerings, so just a fight for ?
That's interesting.
Now, so the realm of Slanesh is actually super badass, and it's because my throat did a weird thing, and it's because like it truly is like built in a way to tempt like somebody with a sentient mind, and I think the hive mind would be that sentient mind that it would try to tempt. So somehow, some way, whatever High Fleet entered Slanesh's realm, I think would still go through the temptations that Slanesh throws at them. Because, like, there's the well, and then there's, like, there's just, like, a bunch of really cool stuff. The Prairie of Gold. So maybe instead of gold, it's, like, a prairie of biomass that the Tyranids just try to eat.
Yeah, it's just a big mass just shaking nonstop.
I would definitely eat that.
But I mean, when you think about it, the hive mind is sentient. And I think what the hive mind wants is complete power over just life in itself. So I think there is something that can tempt it one way or another. Whether it's creating a life form that the hive mind thinks is perfection. So they're going to do their best to try to absorb that mass into themselves. So definitely it's a possibility. Just because they're not like, oh, I want to have sex with this, doesn't mean that the Tyranids won't get pulled in that pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, it's almost like a parallel to like the orcs getting trapped by corn, where like every single day they fight and the orcs love it. So like it might be one of those situations where the Tyranid High Fleet gets trapped because every single day they get to do what they want, which is eat ass.
Yeah, that's true. That's one of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony. And even though the sins play out a little bit differently in the 40K Chaos Gods aspect, it's definitely there.
For sure.
This one is by Cody Stahl. Have other races, such as the Imperium or the Orks, ever tried to reverse engineer or just use Tau technology? Well, like you said, for sure the Orks do because they loot anything they can get their hands on. I'm pretty sure there's other races that use whatever technology they can find to their benefit.
Especially minor races.
Yeah. Like if they're mining for coal, yeah, they're minor races.
Yeah. Those are called squats. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we kind of touched based on this with the Imperium, how if it's Xeno in nature, they're not going to really touch it unless the Admech can like spin it in one way or another. I feel like the Dark Eldar have.
The Dark Eldar for sure because they don't use psychic powers, but I don't think the Craft World would ever use them because it's kind of like, why would I use that when I can think of something and then it just like manifests?
Well, not just that, but they're so like they feel like they're so high and mighty that the Tau, as like such a race that's like barely rising, they're gonna think of them as like just children. Like they're not even gonna play with these battle suits or whatever.
Kind of like us when we go to the toy aisle and we look at like, I don't know.
Those.
Yeah. Like little ninja things.
Knockoff Power Rangers.
And you're like, come on, I have Gilliman back home.
Why would I play with
little baby ninja?
Yeah.
Those are actually a lot of fun. You throw them on the wall and then
sticks.
they fall down.
Oh, it's those kind?
So we're going to do a drinking game where you throw it on the wall and then
whoever
you bet, and then whichever one hits a certain line. Yeah, that would have been fun.
It would have been. So
we didn't do it. No, people drink way too much. We were done by like 11.
Oh wow.
Next question comes from Cody Stahl.
I think we already did that one. Or is that another question?
Yep. The Imperium made contact with Earth? That one?
Oh, no, that's a different.
What if the Imperium made contact with Earth as it is today, as if we were just a long-lost colony of humanity?
Well, hopefully they got their face masks on because they'd probably catch the COVID.
Yeah.
But then we feel sorry for them and we'd be like, oh, it's okay. Here's 4 more years.
4 more years. I think, yeah, like the big powers, superpowers will just get obliterated. Because, like, it would be like Russia, China, and the U.S. that are like, we're going to nuke you guys. And then the Imperium it would just be like, ha, 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 ha. And then Space Marines.
You think so? I feel like they do it more stealthy. Like they'd send in their sleeper agents and then they'll like take it from the inside out.
Not the Imperium. I think the Imperium are like, they want to fight. So it's one of those situations where they would just be like, here's thousands of regiments of Death Corps of Krieg. You guys want to send your best? Sure. Go for it.
Here's one Space Marine. You guys can't do shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I was thinking more of Gene Stealer cults, but if it's the Imperium, then yeah, they're just going to show up with their freaking battle barges blotting out the sun. And it's like, well, it's 2020.
You know what's funny? Because you mentioned Gene Stealer cults. Like back before the craziness that is the present day, there was a video of a special agent that was protecting Obama while he was doing a speech.
Oh, yeah, I saw
and he's
that.
like turning. He's like doing this the whole time. And like he morphs into like a lizard. And I was like, oh, cool. That's like Gene Stealers. But like in your mind, you're just like, that's in the realm of fantasy. That doesn't exist. That's like stupid. That's goofy. But nowadays they talk about lizard people controlling the government. And you're like, yeah, I mean, based on the things that have happened in reality, I would not be surprised if somebody was just like, no, it turns out there's been aliens here the entire time.
I mean, look at that one movie with, I forgot what it's called.
War of the Worlds?
No, the one where like they put on the glasses and they see people as like aliens and stuff.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah. Wait, no, aliens?
Yeah.
I thought it was Bridge to Terabithia. That's what I'm thinking of.
No, I think it's called like The Last Mimsy or something like that.
Yeah, that one. That one too. That's another one.
Is
that
it?
you put glasses on and then you could see like creatures from from the Feywild, basically.
Really? I've never actually seen that movie.
It's actually good. That one's good. The other one's not. The one that I mentioned the first time. But what were you saying?
But yeah, like that's correct. It could be 100% possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gene Stealers are among us.
That's why I always wear sweats. Because I don't want them taking my jeans.
And because it's gray sweat season.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Tongue twisters, man.
Next question.
This one's by the Mandela Bird. Haven't heard from you in a while. What do the Orks do when they run into ancient tech? Do they just outright destroy it or bastardize it for their wants and needs?
Bastardize it. They pimp it out.
They put a little spiky bit on it and then they wrap some tape, some rope, y ahí está.
They be doing some craziness. Te mandé a la bird once again. How many chapters were made from the excess Primaris Marines after the Indomitus campaign? We actually had a friend who talked about this. What did he say? It was like we calculated that. So after you fill up all of the spots that were needed with all of the chapters that were losing and that they were dying because of their genetic deficiency, I think it was another 1,000 chapters or something like that.
But
I don't even know because the point was that like it's a shit ton of Space Marines. And yeah,
like I feel like there should be way more dying than there are way more coming out.
And I feel I definitely talked about this when we did our 40 facts on the, what are they called? The new chapters. What are they called? Thousand Sun? No.
The Ultima? No, not the Ultima.
They have a name. I just can't remember what the name is. But if you check out our 40 facts on Primaris Marines, they'll probably come up. But the original chapter had a specific name. It wasn't really a chapter. It was a legion.
The Legion of the Tigres del Norte.
Basically. Are they still alive?
I hope so.
Next question. This will be our last question. Do you have one?
This one's by Cody Stahl, once again. How much of the Dawn of War lore is canon? For instance, is the lore from Dawn of War Soulstorm actually have any canon lore, or is it mostly just for the games?
I'm pretty sure it's canon because it doesn't really affect the greater Imperium too much.
No, it's pretty much just like, here's these factions on this planet, on this portion of the galaxy that are fighting for this one thing. And then it's like, that's it.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, there is 100% like lore to it. Look at the freaking Blood Ravens. They became a whole chapter because of the game. I believe you can play as Shazla Kais, or Shas Al Kais, which is the third pupil of Farsight, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, characters do cross over from games to lore and vice versa.
Yeah. Those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for sending those questions our way. And yeah, thank you for watching.
This has been The Sound Alchemist,
Gershwan.
and we are out.
Oh, if you could put my freedom back in